Good morning, team. Today is April 17th. Looking at the overall economical calendar so we could stay prepared. We have a lot of Fed action this week, a lot of Fed speakers. You can see today we have a Fed speaker at 12:45, tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Wednesday, we have the Fed Beige Book. Basically, they're talking about banks and what's happening with the banks. And then at 7 on Wednesday, we have another Fed speaker. Thursday, jobless information. That's going to be very important. Other than that, on Friday, we have PMI and another Fed speaker. So nothing too crazy going on this week. But one thing that is crazy going on this week, it's earnings week. So make sure you guys pay attention to this. You guys could find this same earnings list every week on Earnings Whispers. This is their Instagram. They post every week the new earnings, what stocks have earnings. And let's talk about the major earnings that are happening, right? So Monday, nothing really that I trade. On Tuesday, you have Johnson and Johnson, you have Bank of America. After hours, meaning when the market closed, you have Netflix. That's going to be a major one. So make sure you guys pay attention and make sure you guys are very cautious going into the market, especially if the stock you're trading has earnings. The earnings volatility can affect your overall option contracts, especially if you're an option trader. Make sure you guys are very make sure you pay attention to which stocks you guys are trading, right? Especially during earnings season. So we've been having a slow period. Earnings season tends to bring the fire back into the market. So hopefully you guys are excited about that. Wednesday, um, main thing is going to be Tesla and Discovery, right? After hours, that's after 4 o'clock Eastern. So these are going to be the main movers. I know a lot of people are going to be watching Tesla, especially with them cutting prices and everything like that. That overall may affect the stock, but you never know how earnings goes because after hours they may say, "Hey, we think we're going to be doing a lot better." So make sure you guys are very cautious if you trade earnings, right? Thursday, nothing really major, and Friday, nothing really major, but it looks like some banks are announcing this week. AT&T, we have American Express. So make sure you guys are very cautious on what stocks you guys are trading, and make sure you guys check the earnings calendar on Earnings Whisper. So starting off strong, we're going to talk about Netflix, right? Netflix has earnings this week. This is the 1 year, 1 day, meaning each candle on this chart is 1 day of information, right? We have the EMA marked out over here as a solid orange. Netflix has actually been going sideways for the past few days. You can see this is the date and the time over here. So from basically March to now, we've been basically just going sideways. And as an investor, you never really want to invest in anything that's going sideways, especially if you're long-term trading. But as a day trader, let's look for key levels on the 180 day, right? 180 day, right? Main key level, we want to see it break and hold above 340, right? Below the EMA is considered bearish. So we break above 340, we can start pushing up towards 349, towards this previous peak over here. Or if we start to continue on this downward trend, MACD has crossed down, RSI is in the middle position, meaning it could go down, meaning it could sell off, or it could go up, right? Meaning you could go for a long position. So this is a good neutral spot for the MACD. I mean, for the RSI, the MACD over here is crossed down. So that is bearish. And we're below the EMA. So that's bearish. So overall, if we're looking at Netflix this morning, she's looking slightly bearish, right? One or two things we want to be cautious about. It is right above that 1 year EMA around like 338. So we want to see it break and hold below 338, maybe get down below like 337. And then we could start basically pulling back down towards these 330 levels. So watch out for Netflix. Netflix looked like it could be on the downward trend, but that 1 year could be a good support. So make sure you guys are cautious and wait for that key breakout from like 337, and then we can start possibly even going maybe even down towards like 335, right? 20-day just switched over towards the 1 hour chart. Each candle on this chart is 1 hour. 20-day is actually crossed down as well. So keep an eye on Netflix for the possible downside, but also remember this 1 year EMA can be a major support zone. So watch out for that and wait for confirmation, right? Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Next, what we're going to talk about is Meta, right? Meta has been on a strong uptrend. You guys can see it went from 210 to 222 over here, where it actually rejected it twice. So this is like a double top, rejected it once, rejected it twice. Whenever you see a stock struggle to continue an upward trend, that is a negative sign, right? If I'm an investor, why do I want to keep on putting money into something or hold my money in something that's not continually going in the direction I want it to, right? So that leads into selling, and we're selling off. Our size a little bit more in the oversold position over here. So definitely want to be cautious with any more like short positions. It is on a bearish trend on this 15-minute over here, but let's look at the 180-day, right? 180-day over here, you can see the 180-day, we are below the 180-day EMA, and it looks like we may actually start the downtrend. Watch for the break of 219, and we could start going to 216 on Meta, right? So if we do possibly go up, I actually want to see us hold above this 222, right? 222 was rejected multiple times, right? If you look at it on the smaller chart on the 20-day, you can see we rejected once, twice, and we basically started to pull back, right? That double top we spoke about. So if you do want to go for a short position, wait for that 219, then we can start going to 217, maybe even get down towards 216, in which it was resistance before. Old resistance becomes new support. So watch out for that. If you want to get in early for a possible long position, watch for a break and hold above 220, and then we could start going to 222 or that 222 break. If we break and hold above it, we could possibly go up towards 225, right? On Meta. So Meta has been on an uptrend, but just like anything, right? If you're running, you're running. You always got to take a break. Same thing with the stock, right? Meta is taking its short break right now. Um, well, keep an eye on Meta. Make sure you guys set alerts, right? At or above. If it breaks the EMA, right? Or if it holds below the EMA, you guys want to be alerted about that, right? And it pops up in your message box up here. Next stock we're going to talk about is Tesla. Tesla actually has earnings this week, right? So this is very important to watch Tesla this week. There's probably going to be some type of volatility on this one, especially since it does have earnings. Tesla has been in a tricky spot. We speak about it in every video, right? If we go to the 1 year, we rejected the 1 year EMA, right? This long line, right? Can act as resistance if the stock is below it, can act as support if the stock is above it, right? So right now we rejected it twice, right? And now that is a bearish sign, but earnings has the ability to change everything. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think Tesla's going to beat early earnings, or you think it's going to miss earnings, right? Right now, looking at Tesla, let's drop down towards a smaller chart. You can see Tesla is kind of right there, right below the 1 year EMA, right? That 1 year EMA can act as a resistance, leading to a possible downward trend. So if we do start to pull back from this level, don't be shocked, right? This level has been some type of traffic area before. We can see that stock candles are basically struggling to hold above it. We did break above it one time, hit the 180-day SMA, and then we came down, but it has been rejecting this level before, so don't be shocked if we do start to pull back. If we do start to pull back, wait for confirmation. Waiting for confirmation. What's my confirmation, right? What am I going to wait for confirmation for my downward trend? If I am bearish on this stock, what is making me want to enter for a bearish position, right? So one thing is going to be the break of my EMA, right? So if we break 185, that's my first confirmation for bearishness, right? Where's my RSI position, right? RSI position is neutral. So that means it could go down, right? So that's in my favor, right? If it RSI has room to go down, that is in my favor for possible bearish positions, right? MACD is crossed up. That is negative in my position, right? So that's the only negative so far. So you kind of want to wait for confirmation, wait for us to hold below that 185, and then we could start basically going down towards 179. Hopefully, Tesla has been actually in a range, right? So whenever stocks is trading in a range, it has the ability to pinball back and forth until we get a major breakout. Major breakout is going to be on the break of 170, 179. Why? Because we bounced on it twice. So that is basically a double bottom, right? Double bottom can be a nice support area. Where's the major breakout to the upside, right? Going to be above that EMA, right? But got to do risk reward, right? Is this worth it? 186 to 189, depending on how the contracts are moving, right? But the safest area for long positions is probably going to be above 190, and then we can start basically pushing up towards 195. So watch out for Tesla. Very tricky levels, especially right before earnings, right? Earnings is going to be on the 19th. So very tricky levels. Make sure you guys are very cautious and very patient with this one, and make sure you guys check the overall contracts before you guys jump into the stock. Last but not least, we're going to talk about SPY. We've been talking about SPY for a while now, right? SPY is stuck in the level, right? Even though it's bullish. Why do I say it's bullish? This is the 1 year, 1 day. Each candle is 1 day of information. MACD has crossed up, bullish. RSI, right? It was on an upward trend. That's bullish. Where are the candles, right? Are they below or above the EMA? They're above the EMA. That is bullish, right? So what is the bearish signs that we're seeing right now? The bearish signs that we're seeing is that this level right here in the past, right? This is dated. In the past, you can see that we struggled to break above 415. 415 has been basically some type of kryptonite for SPY, right, in the past. And you can see it over here. 415 is some type of struggle area right now, right? And now we got to look at the signs, right? What's the signs, right? 415 was a struggle area before. Where was the RSI? RSI is probably the most important indicator that you can have on your chart. Relative strength, right? The strength was very weak, right? Overbought, right? Whenever the RSI is over here, it's overbought, right? So that's telling me, hey, stock is losing strength to the upside. And what happened? It started to sell off. So look what's happening over here. We're getting to our overbought level. We are overbought. We could be a little bit more overbought, but we're getting closer to being more overbought over here. So definitely want to be cautious with SPY going forward, especially around these 415 levels, right? Definitely want to be cautious over here, especially since we rejected and we're getting overbought, right? Don't be shocked if SPY pulls back, right? If SPY pulls back, what are some levels that I'm watching for, right? Key levels I'm watching for is going to be the break of the EMA, right? If we're holding above it, we're bullish. When we hold below it, we're bearish, right? So I'm going to wait for a possible hold below 409, and then we could start possibly going to 404. And judging on the RSI, right, depending on what's going on, if the MACD crosses down, then that's even more gravy for my mashed potatoes, right? So she could possibly go even lower. So watch out for that. Make sure you guys set your alerts. You can see I already have my alerts right here, right? But until then, I'm not going to jump into any bearish positions, major bearish positions, until this level is broken, right, at 409. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. You can see it over here. I dropped down from the 1 year to the 4 hour, right? So each candle over here is 4 hours. You guys can see multiple rejections around that 415, right? So if I'm a bull, what am I waiting for, right? Say if you're bullish on SPY, what are you waiting for? You want us to hold above 415. Have we really held above 415 in the recent times? Not really, right? So you definitely want to see us hold above 115, get above there, hold there for a while, as some type of floor, and then you could possibly look for your long positions, right? If everything starts to look right. But overall, it does look kind of tricky around that 415 level, so make sure you guys are very cautious with that. And overall, you can see the MACD starting to cross down. RSI is pointing down. We are trying to get below the 188 trade line, so we may have a little pullback today. So watch for that 412. Then we could possibly go to 410, maybe even bounce off of 409, right? It's dropped down towards the 28. What's the 28 looking like? 28 is crossed down in a bearish position already. RSI has room to the downside. So she's starting to look a little bearish this morning, right? So make sure you guys keep an eye on all the stocks you guys are watching. Make sure you guys practice patience. We could see a minor bounce this morning, right? We did hit 415 RSI on the smaller charts, right? Those smaller charts are always going to move first, right? So sometimes the stock gives you a pump fake before it really does what it wants to do, right? So right now on the smaller charts, right? Larger charts are showing bearishness, smaller charts are showing slightly bullishness, right? Why? Because this is oversold. So we could possibly bounce and then come back down. So let's see what happens. Make sure you guys are very cautious, practice patience. There's no rush. There's tons of moves in the overall market. Wait for your A+ setup and you'll find success. Later, and leave a like and comment below.